Thanksgiving dinner, 2016. Do you remember it? People all over this nation were bracing for the worst. Some of them posted rules of engagement on the dining room walls. Others disinvited certain family members. Yeah, like that wasn't going to start something, huh? Others decided to eat dinner out because maybe if we were all out in public, it might go better. Right? What were they anticipating? Thank you, Cynthia. Yeah, arguments, right? With people armed with knives and forks. And it happened, didn't it? All across this nation. Was yours a war zone? I hope not. But have we lost the capacity to have civil conversations about controversial issues? The 2016 presidential election, for one, and that one's still a hot issue, right? Have we lost that capacity? There have been many issues that have divided us, but social historians have always said that the Methodist Church was always 20 years ahead of the U.S. population on social issues. The General Conference would make social proclamations 20 years before the country caught up with public policy. All kinds of issues. Abolition. What issue is this? Temperance. Can you read the words? I love it. I want to hold one of these signs. Lips that touch liquor shall not touch ours. Don't you love that? Suffrage. And all of these huge national, even constitutional issues, the General Conference was ahead of the country. But things have changed. We are certainly not out in front as a church on the issues of gay rights, civil liberties, moral liberties. We are behind, and nothing has been solved or resolved. So before I get into our current controversies over human sexuality, I just want to remind us that we have been here before. The Methodist movement has suffered many schisms after John Wesley died. No one dared press the issues before his death. But right after he died in 1791, and in 1797, you see the first schism. It kind of works from my left, or your left, going across. So you can see 1791, death of John Wesley, and all those other lines represent, they're actually groups of schisms, not even individual schisms. And so we are not a denomination that is new to schism. Unfortunately, we've had our share. In fact, most of us probably most identify with the church beginning from 1939. And in 1940, the merger of 39, in 1940, a huge issue threatened to divide the brand new baby church. And to our eternal shame, it wasn't the fact that white male leaders had decided to segregate all African Americans and non-English speaking peoples. That's not what we were ready to split over. That was okay. What it was, I should have asked for a drum roll, Jeannie, was divorce. Those of you who can remember, think back to divorce in 1940. After World War II, divorce rates started soaring, and especially after the Depression. Unknown in this country, rates of divorce. And so the church was sent spinning. How shall we deal with this? How shall we respond? And you know that in scriptures, in the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus himself says, if a man divorces his wife and marries another woman, he has committed what? Adultery. From the lips of Jesus. But do we condemn you? I wonder how many brothers there are here today who fit that description. Do we condemn you today? No. Why not? Anybody know why not? Because no one today lives in the kind of marriage that Jesus knew in ancient times. It's not the same. So we don't simply translate words of an ancient text into a modern context and condemn people. And as tragic, always, and painful divorce is, and I speak personally, my eldest daughter's divorce is probably now finalized. As painful as that is, sometimes it is the right decision. And sometimes, for the sake of the children, it's the right decision. And so, no, we don't condemn people today, even with Jesus' words to the people of his time. Anybody here eat pork? Anybody eat pork? How many of you had bacon or ham this morning? Well, then you know you are an abomination. It's what it says in the book of Deuteronomy and the Levitical laws, book of Leviticus. Do we condemn you this morning for your morning ham and eggs? No. Why not? It's God's law. Come on, disciple Bible study people, you're equipped now. We do not, because Christians made a big decision very early in our Christian history that Christians are not bound by the Levitical laws of the Jews. The apostles, Peter and Paul, had a great big fight over this. You ain't seen nothing in any church like that fight. And it didn't end until what? Until Peter. Peter had a dream. And Jesus himself told him, Peter, don't call what I have made sacred unclean. That ended it. We Methodists are divided over so many issues that I'm not at all surprised that one that deals specifically with the hot button of sexuality, we don't do well with that at all as a church anyway. We could do better. But it does grieve me deeply, and I don't understand why some people feel this one issue is enough to rip the church apart again. But there are those who are prepared right now to do that. I think what grieves Jesus most is the hateful language and behavior that has accompanied our disagreement. I have been there myself in the general conference to hear hateful, disparaging words at the microphone. And yes, they have been chastised, but you can't take it back, can you, once it's out? And so I'm grateful for the bishop's letter. It does feel late to me, but it is appreciated The very first rule of John Wesley's movement is this. It's really simple. That's why he called them 3 simple rules. Number 1 is do no harm. I don't care how right we think we are. Do no harm. Could there be anything more clearly the law of Jesus himself? This is Adam Hamilton. Do you know him? Well, I don't mean know him. Some of you, I think, went to the Church of the Resurrection, right? Some time ago on a disciple-making trip or something like that. But he is the pastor of the largest United Methodist Church in the United States, the Church of the Resurrection, which was born, drum roll again, in a mortuary. But they have something like 8,000 members, over 8,000 members at this point. But Adam writes a lot of books, and I think all of us appreciated his book called Seeing Gray. In other words, helping United Methodists understand we don't live in a black and white world where things are very simple to understand and make decisions about. We have to learn how to live in the grayness of our world. And he says this in that book. Seeing gray involves finding common ground with those who disagree with us and embracing them, with the love and grace of Jesus Christ. Here's the kicker. This requires spiritual maturity. How telling it is to me that those who consider themselves the most righteous, right, in a argument over anything in the Bible, are often those who choose to use words with the least love and care and respect. This requires spiritual maturity. And so how mature are we, brothers and sisters? This is what I think that means. I think it means here at Centennial that we don't have to like everyone's ideas to love everyone. And I think we don't have to agree with one another to walk with one another. And we don't have to accept everyone's opinion to listen carefully and respectfully to everyone's opinion. And if we disagree, brothers and sisters, we will need to move out of our comfort zones so that we can remain in covenant with one another. Can you go there with me? Because I don't know what's going to happen later this month, but we pride ourselves on being a church that embraces diversity. That's what we want everyone to know about us. Well, that diversity comes with a diversity of experiences, of education, of values, of a lot of things, of perspectives. And it means we choose to embrace one another here as we walk in the door. Mr. Wesley reminds us, as to all opinions which do not strike at the root of Christianity, and there he means, is Jesus Lord or not? We think and let think. We can honor our differing opinions as long as we honor everyone's opinions.